Welcome to another episode of Ikezy Talks Sport, and I remain your host, Ikezy. And honestly, it's a sad day. It's a sad day for Nigerians. Or let me say, it's a sad day for Nigerians that are also Chelsea fans. Let me just put it that way, because imagine if you are a Nigerian and then you also support Chelsea Football Club. That means that you lost both ways, you know. And that's interesting because I'm an Arsenal fan, as you can see. Um, I got half, victory yesterday. But yeah, I'm here to talk about the Nigerian game, the Nigeria versus Morocco game. Honestly, like everyone else, I was quite disappointed at the results. I wouldn't say I was too disappointed at the performance. I knew that, Morocco being the host, they were going to have, that edge in terms of, they had the fans behind them. Obviously, the stadium was filled up, it was packed with almost, I think, 45,000 Moroccans. The atmosphere was always going to be hostile towards Nigerians. However, I think that we played well. Like, I won't say we played brilliantly. I think we played well because the odds were stacked against us. I don't want to go deep into the refereeing of the game because we all knew that that was possibly going to happen. I mean, we saw what happened in Morocco when Morocco played Cameroon, right? But that referee, the referee that refereed the game against Morocco, Nigeria, Morocco, that guy, so many incidents we're not getting. Almost any 50-50 call went against us. You can imagine so many calls that were very surprising. Bassey getting yellow carded was extremely surprising. It's till now, I still cannot understand why he got yellow carded, right? But I don't want to focus on the referee because all while the game was going on, I kept saying to myself, Nigeria, please don't give the referee a decision to make, because if you give him a decision to make, we know that he's going to call it against us. So I like the fact that the team were level-headed and we tried, we played. We did play to the best of our ability. I think that we're able to manage the game. At times, we're able to limit the Moroccans to, some taking shots from outside the box, right? They didn't really have, yes, they took 16 shots, right? But then they only had one big chance in the whole 120 minutes. And that's, kudos to the defensive work, the discipline. Calvin Bassey was a rock at the back. Calvin Bassey, in my opinion, is going to revolutionize our defense in the coming years. I think that guy is an elite defender. And honestly, I won't be surprised if, top clubs in Europe are, after him, after this AFCON. It's a shame he will not be at the World Cup, because I think that would have been a much bigger platform for him to showcase his talents. That guy won every duel. Everything coming into that box, he took care of it. That's why it's a shame he got yellow carded, because he's the least person that should have gotten a yellow card. He was super impressive. That's one positive I'm going to take from that match. I think that our midfielders could have done better. I think our attackers could have done better. I don't want to, single anyone out. It's easy that's what we do as Nigerians. When things doesn't go our way, we try to pick on, certain people. But I just felt like the performance, it was expected, right? And I'm not the type to say ball, because obviously Nigeria had more ball possession, but it depends. What matters is what you do with the ball. And even though Moroccans also had quite a lot of possession, especially in the first half, they couldn't do anything with it, right? No goals. As you would see, it was a new stalemate, and it got to the penalty. So kudos to both teams. I think when people say the best team won, I think that can be argued, honestly, because I think we were very solid defensively. We didn't really do much going forward as well. And I think that was also kudos to Moroccans as well. They were also solid defensively, right? We just didn't we couldn't put together a couple of attacks. We couldn't generate much. I think I don't want to single out names, honestly, because it would be easy for me to do that. I just want to praise, the Super Eagles performance up until this point, honestly. And I think we can just look at the positives and stick to it, right? This is a team that I believe that is currently underachieving. It's currently underachieving. I'm still reeling from disappointment. I did not want to record a video immediately after yesterday because I was still in that. I was still in my feelings, right? I wanted to, be as objective as possible, right? So I believe that with this coach, we should be able to do, good things. But it's just a shame. I don't know when the next, big competition is going to be. I don't know if, certain players that we have are still going to be available for that competition. But I believe that the core of the team Bassey, Osai. I like Iwobi in the midfield. I'm very happy with I think Adenuma Lukman can be better. I think Osimhen also can be better. I think that the best of this team is still yet to come. It's unfortunate, like I said, that we didn't win this AFCON, but it's not all doom and gloom. It's not gloom. It's not the end of the road, right? Let's just try to remain positives. I know I'm probably one of the very few creators out there that is trying to, and be positive about these results. But I think we should be. We should be. Nigerians before coming into this tournament, you would tell you know that your expectations were well managed. If someone had told you that at this point would when we're coming into the tournament that would play the kind of football that we played, and then we'll also be talking about semi-final or even get into the final, a lot of people would have said, well, they don't think that's going to be possible, especially because of the way we played the World Cup qualifiers. But kudos to them. I personally would have loved the Nigeria-Senegal final, but it's the host nations against the Senegalese, and honestly, I'm going to be rooting for the Senegalese because it's just when a host nation goes on to win a tournament, trust me. I mean, obviously, if it is on merits, oh well and good, but I just feel like it kind of puts a stain. It kind of taints it a little bit, when the host nation, goes all the way to win, especially when, some of the performances are kind of like rough or are kind of like, dicey, shaky there, right? So, but if they win it, oh well and good. I think a lot of people say that they deserve it, right? But I am rooting for the Senegalese. I'm rooting for the Senegalese, and I hope that they come up with a trophy. But before I go, I would like to talk about the penalty shootout now. I know I did say I wasn't going to single out anyone, but that's over the 90 minutes because I said that's over the 120 minutes that we played. I think it was a fair game. 120 minutes. I think everyone gave their all. Nigerians defensively, Moroccans, attacking wise. Yes, the referee try to make the game about himself, and I think it was very good the way that we Nigerians were able to control our emotions, because if we didn't, trust me, someone like Osimhen or any other person with a temper would have probably gotten a yellow or a red card. But anyways, the penalties, I think that with the penalty shootout was extremely poor from a Nigerian point of view. Now, when a game goes to penalties, right, it's anyone's game. It's anyone's game. The keepers are diving, they are guessing. It is anyone's game, in short. I cannot understand why Samuel Chukwueze would go and take the penalty the way he did. I cannot understand why. I cannot. The way he went and took that penalty, it was almost like he was playing with his family member. That was how it looked like. There was no conviction, there was no attitude, there was no character. It was lackadaisical. And, if he's being called out, is rightly being called out, honestly. I'm not going to say, you should come out and apologize or whatever. He knows what he was thinking at the time that he went to take that penalty. But that was a terrible penalty. The Moroccans had just lost their penalty kick. That was a chance for us to stamp our authority and put the pressure on them. If we had scored that penalty kick, they would have had a lot more pressure and probably would have missed another penalty kick. But no, this guy went there, took it lackadaisically. He took it like, I don't even know. And I honestly think that the coach also should take a part of the blame. Yes, majority of the blame is on Chukwueze, but honestly, if you're going to bring in a player just to take a penalty kick, right, I think it is important that you allow that player at least warm up a little in the game. I think it's important that you let that player, even if it's 5 minutes or, I think 7 to 10 minutes is okay for him to warm up in the game. So it's not like his first touch is a penalty kick. Because if you remember the Euros, I think in, was it 2019? The Euros where, it was 2019 or 28, I can't remember now. England lost the final to Italy on a shootout, and Southgate brought in Sancho and Marcus Rashford in the last minutes of the extra time just to take penalty kicks. And we all know what happened. They both missed, right? There are events all over the world that tell you that, you need to allow a player to warm up. But that does not mean that even if a player doesn't warm up, that you are a professional. No professional athlete should be taking a penalty kick like that in that context, in that kind of tournament at that stage of a tournament. It's a serious business. You have the entire nation watching you on your back, and then you go and take a penalty kick like that. I'm not buying. If you're being called out, you deserve to be called out, right? And also, Bruno Yemachi. Bruno, I don't know. I mean, yours was a case of, and I think I understand you. A lot of Nigerians might not, but I think I understand you because in your mind, before you stepped out to take that kick, you already picked your spot. You already made up your mind that you're going to go to the right or the left of the goalkeeper, right? You're a professional. You have to always observe. You have to always observe. And I think that keeper, in my opinion, was trying to make it easy for Nigerians. If you are just calm down, it was moving, and then it would move even before the penalty is played, right? Just to give him that advantage, right? In case, you want to like maybe place it. So if you are just taking a moment to pause just before you kicked it, you would have seen that it was moving to that direction. But your own case is understandable. It was just quite unfortunate that you picked your spot, he moved before you kicked it, and then he was able to catch it. But all in all, I think that like I said, penalty is any man's game, but you want to give yourself, the best shot. You want to give yourself the best shot at taking a penalty, and we just didn't, and we were made to pay. Honestly, it was a very sad day for us. It was a very sad day for Nigerians. Honestly, it's hard to focus on positives right now, but I think that this team, if you stick to the coach and is able to also bring in new players, sieve out the ones that are not really performing. Honestly, I'm talking about the likes of Chukwueze, and bring in new ones that can actually, that know what it means to play for the badge, that knows what it means to represent, that can effectively carry the hopes of 200 million people and represent, right? And I believe that with a combination of those, we should move forward as a nation as regards to this team. So it's not all doom and gloom. Yes, we're all sad, but it is what it is.